What you have is you have a bunch of corrupt legislators over there that think that they can manipulate science and they can manipulate history, that they can constrain freedom, and it's all bullshit. And it's about time that the people of New Jersey, as they've shown, lead this entire country, that we need to build a revolutionary, mass, fierce movement. That's how we get truth, freedom, and health. We don't get anything in this world without fighting for it. And that's what I learned in New Jersey. And I'm so happy to be back here, and I thank God on this day that I have the chance to come back. It's a very, very important day. I know we had this beautiful silent march, and we talked about the fact that this is an important spiritual day. For me, this is the eve of my mother's death 8 years ago. She was an amazing woman. She was an amazing mother. So I want to dedicate today not only to my mother, but all of you mothers. Because it is the power of the female energy, the mothers, that is how we're going to win. And that's what that statue represents up there. It's not coincidental. We're standing right next to that statue of victory. So we got to all... So let's talk about two things a Jersey boy wants to bring back to you. You know, I grew up here in Patterson, in Clifton, and in Parsippany, and in Livingston. My dear parents kept moving to the better school systems. They had very little money because the better school systems offered, and I think the property taxes changed, right? From Patterson. The most important thing I want to share with you is that journey was a journey from truth, freedom, and health. That's what I want to bring back to you and how we get there. In order to unify ourselves, we all have to have a common goal, right? Everyone talks about unity, but I don't think they want to unify with us. They're corrupt, we're not. They're for power, profit. To unify that is we get millions of people out here. We have to build a fierce movement. Bottom's very important to me that I discuss what that is because I believe that they're using each other, but none of them ever want to educate any of us. So Jobs in the 1970s, amazing guy who taught me the scientific method. Everyone remember that? Yeah. And probably those guys over there should learn it. Because what the scientific method says, you start doing experiments, right? Because you don't really know anything, right? We don't, even one simple problem I take seriously because I know I have the humility to know as an engineer that I could have made a mistake when you build something. Now contrast that to how MDs and pediatricians, all very nice people, how they've been trained. Someone says, hey, my kid is vaccine injured. Something just happened when he got these 3 shots. Oh, you're wrong, right? Medicine has become the only field where the customer is always wrong. Every other field, we treat the customer as always right. All of us who work for a living, we don't get our paycheck if we don't treat the customers right. But for some reason in the healthcare industry, the customer is always wrong. And that is anti-science, and that's anti-engineering. But I learned truth about the scientific method in engineering right here in New Jersey. I also learned how to landscape. I learned how to, snow blow. I learned how to paint, right? I had jobs all over. I learned how to program. And in New Jersey is where I created the first email system. It wasn't done at MIT, it wasn't done in Silicon Valley. The first email system was done by a 14-year-old New Jersey boy in Newark, New Jersey. That's where email was created. And all the facts are there. I called it email, I wrote the 50,000 lines of code, and I have the first copyright. But that was done in New Jersey. You know, what's unfortunate about New Jersey is there's a lot of freaking smart people here. But they don't get the credit. Silicon Valley and MIT get the credit. And that's the opportunity that those legislators do not know we have. Let's go to freedom. You know, my parents left India because it was a caste system, right? Your name mattered. It didn't matter what you did. So they left there because I remember as a kid, that's why my parents came here, for freedom. And it was freedom that my mother taught me. There was a very interesting incident. My chemistry teacher, I think in Parsippany, wouldn't allow me to take an exam. Even though I was the best student, my mother got up and she went to that teacher and she said, how dare you not let my son take that exam? Because I was a new kid on the block. You know, they hadn't seen someone like me. Anyway, I took the exam and I won, but my mother taught me to fight, uncompromisingly. She was a freaking fighter. She would fight, because she knew, as an Indian, as an untouchable woman in India, that she would never have gotten educated unless she took matters into her own hand and stood up on her own 2 feet. You see, 1940s, women weren't supposed to get educated. An untouchable woman wasn't supposed to get educated. It was through fighting.
That's right.
And we have to realize that legislators are not going to give us anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
They're watching where they're, who's going to butter their next side of their bread. That's what's going on. Everyone heard of the Mansfield Amendment? The Mansfield Amendment, under political institutions like the become now, or academia has become the oldest profession in the world. Everyone know what that is, right? Academia has become the oldest profession in the world. That's what's actually happened. You have mediocre people who are trying to get grants every day, trying to get their students into positions of power. It's all become a fundamentally business game. So they don't really care whether climate change is happening or not. They don't care whether vaccines are happening or not. Everything gets reduced. Every problem is broken into pro-climate, anti-climate, pro-GMO, anti-GMO, pro-vaccines, anti-vax. You see what I'm saying? Democrat, Republican. The reality is neither party gives a damn about any of us. And you have to realize that. This is not about Republican or Democrat, because this issue, what's so powerful about this issue, you have working people on a Monday coming out. This has not occurred in probably many, many years. And that's what they're afraid of. They're not afraid of just a vaccine movement. They're afraid that working people are going to run. I was a 4-year-old kid. My grandmother was a poor village farmer. She could observe your face. She applied India's system of oldest medicine, and she would figure out the right medicine for the right person at the right time. That's called personalized medicine, which is what we've come to in the United States now. Even the NIH recognizes you have to go to the right medicine for the right person at the right time. Well, my grandmother had tattoos all over her arm, chewed tobacco, didn't get any education, knew that, and she practiced that system of medicine. That's what compelled me when I came to the U.S. as a 14-year-old to work at Rutgers in Newark to study SIDS. That's what forced me, got me excited to go to MIT to get all those degrees. And what did I learn from that? That in order to know health, you have to take a systems approach. Okay, and I've been trying to educate people on that. A systems approach means the ankle bone is connected to the foot bone, right? That means you cannot have truth without freedom. And without truth, you can't have health. And without healthy people, we don't have warriors to go fight for freedom. It's all connected, guys. So you make people sick, you injure them, you put them on high THC cannabis all day, you quiet everyone down, and no one wants to freaking fight anymore. But everyone here is healthy. That's what they're afraid of. You guys are actually healthy people, and you want to fight. You see, in all traditional systems of medicine, I don't know if you know this, the warrior and the healer were the same person. The warrior and the healer, because the warrior went to war against death, and the healer went to war against death. They didn't separate, oh, I'm going to be this little namby-pamby little, pussyfooting person, and then I'm going to be this healer, the new age thing. It wasn't that. We have to be fierce warriors. That's how we heal the world. So healing and freedom and all these things are interconnected. So the principle there, when I say the science ain't settled, when it comes to the immune system, which I'm going to talk about in Livingston, everyone's invited. We have a beautiful place there. I'll announce the actual location at 4 p.m. Some of you may know I was invited back to my high school to do a presentation. 4 years ago, Livingston High School honored me into their Livingston Hall of Fame. But at that time, I had taken some of the best chemistry students as a way to give back, and they interned with my company, and we analyzed genetic engineering and GMOs. We published a series of 5 papers, and we conclusively showed that when you genetically engineered soy, the soy plant upregulates formaldehyde, downregulates glutathione. Well, anyway, this year, a couple of weeks ago, I called back the principal of Livingston High School, called back the science teacher and the superintendent. I said, look, there's a major vote coming up in New Jersey, and there's a lot of ignorance. And in reverence to Mr. Walker, I want to come back and teach the scientific method. So it was agreed upon that I would do, at 2 p.m. today, a lecture to the science students, teaching them the modern immune system. And at 6 p.m., there was going to be a talk where I would educate the public. Well, lo and behold, we put this out, and a woman in New Jersey who is an executive at Blue Cross Blue Shield, whose husband is like this with Sweeney and considers himself the top 70 guy power players, who is the general counsel or former general counsel of the Democratic Party. This woman called up the superintendent and said, I'm an anti-Semite. This is in Livingston, New Jersey, okay? Which is like calling me a Klansman in a black neighborhood. It's amazing. Blue Cross Blue Shield If you look around, they're the ones who give bonuses to doctors to give vaccines. They're basically a distribution agency for vaccines. Blue Cross Blue Shield has struck a deal with the New Jersey state to reimburse doctors and pediatricians. I don't know if you know this, pediatricians and doctors don't make any money off vaccines before this. So they had to incentivize them. Free stuff, plus they cover the administrative expenses, plus they give them bonuses. Okay, so Blue Cross Blue Shield, which this woman belongs to, is an executive at, is the one who did a hit job. But we're not going to let them get away with it. At 5:30 at Livingston High School, we're going to do a vigil. Hotep Jesus is joining me. And at 7 to 8:30 p.m., back there, we're going to do a talk on the modern immune system. That's how we fight back. We don't ever let them attack us and get away with it. Ever. An attack on any one of us, on any of these dog whistles, by the way, by point of reference, there is real anti-Semitism taking place in this country, in New Jersey and New York, but you have two types of anti-Semitism, real anti-Semitism, and the people who use a dog whistle of anti-Semitism, white supremacy, racism. They're the anti-Semites. Let me repeat that again. When I grew up in India, you'd have these politicians, Hindu politicians who'd go among Hindus and Muslims who are living well, and they'd say negative stuff against the Muslims, or Sikhs and Hindu who are living together. The Sikh politicians would say something against the Hindus. This is an age-old tactic. You separate people up. You use a dog whistle. So let's start calling out these people who start calling people white supremacists, racists, anti-Semites, because they are essentially misusing these terms, and it's very, very bad. But getting back to the truth, freedom, and health, and where we're at right now, we have a huge opportunity if we follow these 6 principles. Number 1, inclusivity. How do we get to truth, freedom, and health? We have to play a very different game than the game they play. They play the game of exclusivity, which means a few set of people sit behind boardrooms, probably meet at little cafes over here and make decisions. We have to be inclusive. Number 2, it has to be transparent. If you notice, everything I do, whether I disagree with someone or not, I'm out there open with it. That's okay, because it's good public discourse. That's how we have debate. They do everything secretive, right? 3rd principle, system syncing. The ankle bone's connected to the foot bone. They reduce everything. They take a complex system like the immune system, which has 5 major systems, which I'll talk about, which is up online, and they reduce it to one variable, the antibody. Right? You take a very complex system and you say, I'm going to inject this vaccine and I'm going to measure the efficacy of that vaccine using one variable, the antibody. It's total bull engineering, and I just gave this talk at the National Science Foundation. That's the problem they have. That's why that woman had to call me an anti-Semite. You understand? They don't want real scientists. They don't want real science. They want fake science, because fake science is the fake news behind fake news right now. That's where it's going. Seriously. Next thing is freedom. No censorship. Total freedom, right? They practice censorship. We have freedom. Next thing is decentralization. They want centralization, big media, big power, etc. Finally, personalization. Everyone's a unique being here, and this is a fundamental issue here. Everyone's unique immune system is very different. Today, it's actually a pretty amazing opportunity. We have an array of medical interventions. You can go there. People here, chiropractors, acupuncturists, people believe in herbal medicine. We have access to so many range of medical interventions, and one size does not fit all. One size does not fit all. And that's what modern science is showing. After 2003, what's been shown is we have the same number of genes as a worm. I don't know if you guys know about this. We have 20,000 genes. We thought we had 500,000 genes. So that has flipped biology on its head to realize it's not the number of genes. It's how molecular reactions take place. It's epigenetics. It's far more complex. The environment, the foods, all these things affect us. So we're headed into a world of personalized medicine. So if we're headed into a world of personalized medicine, how can you tell that every child has to get the same set of vaccines in this vaccine schedules? It's actually against their own medicine. It's against their own science. So I hope Vin Gopal, I hope Sweeney, all these guys are listening to this, because Vin Gopal's parents are medical doctors. Okay, and I've been trying to reach out to both of them. His mother comes from my mother's village. And but maybe Vin just wants to be a nice, good career politician. Okay? But I hope he's listening, because he is. Here's my number, Vin, 617-631-6874, and you should call me, because me, you, and your parents can get together from Italy and some dosa, and we can have a conversation. But if you want to become just a scumbag politician, then go your current way. But I'm offering you an olive branch. It's time that you give me a call, and I say this with all sincerity as someone whose mother comes from your mother's village. You need to give me a call, because it's time that we understood that the immune system of today that's used to develop vaccines is 50 to 150 years old. It's not science. If you actually use a modern immune system, you find out that when you do a medical intervention, that you set off a whole orchestration of molecular reactions. The microbiome will try to rebalance itself, the innate immune system, the interferon system, and the blood and the neural systems. It's not like you just go stick something in and everything's fine. Right? Engineers get this, but for some reason medical doctors don't get this, and definitely politicians don't get this, because they can do whatever they want and we all suffer. Right?
That's right.
So in closing, we have a huge opportunity. Whatever they do, it doesn't matter, guys. Let them do whatever they want, but we will and will continue to escalate the movement. We must escalate this movement, because it's beyond just their little vaccines. It's for truth, freedom, and health. And the only way we're going to get our power back is to build a groundswell movement and realize all these three things are connected. You guys see what I'm saying? It's not just about vaccines. Vaccines is a tip of the spear, because it's showing that they are seeing how much they can choke us, how much that they can choke freedom and get away with it, because they want to control the bloodstream of the entire population.
That's right.
That's what this is about. And we cannot allow them to do that, nor can we, whatever they do in there, let's say they pass this bill, no one here should feel depressed. No one, I'm telling you that right now. That means we're going to escalate this movement. Escalate, escalate, escalate. That's what we should do. Okay? Do not ever let them demoralize you. What they do doesn't freaking matter. What we do matters. We build a movement on our battleground, not theirs. Okay? Because we will never win on their battleground. You have Norcross, who owns Sweeney, Chris Christie, went to Livingston, a complete sellout. I'm so pissed off with that guy. Okay? So we need to build the movement. We need to know that we are the light, we are the truth, and we are the way. Know the truth, be the light, find your way. That's what we need to do. Thank you. Truth, freedom, health. 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 Science ain't settled. 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 Vin Gopal, call Shiva. Vin Gopal, call Shiva. Vin Gopal, call Shiva, then go Paul, 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 call Shiva, 617-631-6874, 617-631-6874, 617-631-6874. All right.
You end it?
Anyway, tonight, Livingston, I'll post it on Twitter and Facebook at 4 p.m. where the talk is. Everyone's welcome. Let's pack it. We'll go outside, whatever we want to do. Okay? Let's escalate the freaking movement. Escalate it. Thank you. What?
Tuesday in Tom's River against Sweeney.
Here's some more announcement. Tuesday, Tom's River against Sweeney.
At the Grove.
At the Grove.
37 and Hooper
37
Avenue.
and Hooper Avenue. Hooper. 37 and Hooper Avenue. Tom's River against Sweeney. What time?
9.
Huh?
9.
9 a.m.? 9 a.m. Tuesday. Any other announcements?
7:30.
7:30.